Hey, hey, welcome back, hunters, to the stream. It is Thursday, June 8th. Yeah, June 8th, 7 a.m. New York time. It is noon over in London, and it is 8 o'clock over in Tokyo. So, welcome in. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. So glad you guys are back with us. We are on day 9 of our 10K to $2 million funding challenge. We're trading our actual 10K funded account. And if you're just now jumping into the stream, you can go check out the playlist where we passed phase 1 and phase 2. And yeah, so we're 9 days in. We have today and tomorrow, and then we will be eligible for our payout on Sunday if we can remain in profit, which we currently are up 2%. Great trading day yesterday. It just was a beautiful setup and ended up playing it out exactly as we outlined it in our stream. And our setup developed right after we got off the stream yesterday. I called it out on Twitter, and then man, we took advantage of it and were able to capitalize on our setup, and we're 2% in profit. So we have taken 5 trades so far in the 8 days that we have been trading this funded account. We have 2 wins and 3 losses, and we're 2% in profit. This is the power of risk reward ratio. This is why you have to risk the same percentage amount throughout your trading timeline. So whether it's your phase 1, phase 2, whether it's your funded account, for your risk reward ratio to give you the edge and keep you in profits, you have to risk the same percentage amount. So that's what we did yesterday, and it worked out great. We were down 1%, and then we took a 1 to 2 winner, and now we're up. Sorry, we were down 2%. We took a 1 to 2 winner, and so it wiped out that loss and put us 2% now into profit. If we find another setup today and tomorrow, we'll take it. There is some unemployment claims coming out at 8:30. It's not listed as red folder news, but pretty much anything that has to do with the economy these last few months has the potential to really bring some volatility into the markets. So we'll be watching for that. That hits at 8:30 Eastern, and we'll see if it has any kind of an impact on that. This is the gold chart right here, and we did lay all this out yesterday. We said, hey, we were looking for a run into liquidity. I actually passed phase 1 of a fund. I had an account with the Funded Trader from a while back that I had not been able to pass, and it had just been resetting, and I even forgot I had it because it was in profits, and I kept going back to it. But yesterday I actually passed on that trade. I had a limit order sit inside of this 30-minute order block, and my take profit was right in here. And yeah, so passed that yesterday, 10% in one day. So that's cool. So it's that moved on to phase 2, but that doesn't have anything to do with this specific stream that we're doing here. Here we're just taking 10K all the way to 2 million in funding by the end of 2023. We're using Bespoke, which I saw on Twitter yesterday. All the prop firms are posting their website traffic. So they're basically saying, hey, these are the best firms based on how many unique visitors and website visits they're getting in a month, right? So Bespoke actually jumped up last month to number 9 overall. So that was kind of cool to see. They're a newer firm. I think they're not even a year old yet. But they seem to be doing things really well. and they're getting consistent payouts to their traders, and they've made it into the top 10. My Forex Funds was still number one, FTMO was number two, and the Funded Trader was number three, which is really interesting to me. They're all time limit firms. And I guess just all the millions of traders out there that are going to their websites don't know about no time limit firms, I guess. I don't know. I'm not really sure, but My Funded FX was number four, and they were kind of the very first no time limit firm out there that made a big splash. And so they're now the number four. My Funded FX is now the number four most visited prop firm site. So they're all kind of coming up. But yeah, Bespoke's now number 9, so that's kind of cool. Hey, good morning, Beeswax. Welcome in, buddy. It looks like you're first on the board today. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. We're up 2%. We're going to be hunting trades today, sitting in our tree stand and seeing if we can find any good setups to appear. I am still bearish on gold. You've got draws on liquidity under here. You've got relative equal lows. We're back down at the extreme. I would expect to see this draw on liquidity get tapped into today. And we've just dug up barely into this hourly sell side imbalance right here. We've just tapped up into it. So, you could expect to see this get rebalanced. So you have massive buy side, massive downside. So somewhere up in here, maybe you get a spike and then you can roll over. It doesn't have to. It has already grabbed liquidity from overnight. And you can see here you had a down move to grab liquidity here. It's broken structure, but it hasn't continued to displace. So if you get some displacement here, you might be able to find something to push this down towards these lows and these lows down here. I don't know if it comes all the way back down there. I think it will eventually. I don't know if we get there today. There's not any more massive news today or tomorrow coming out. At least I don't believe so. Let me pull up my economic calendar real quick just to confirm. Today we just have continuing jobless claims. We have initial jobless claims. All that's coming out at 8:30. Wholesale inventories at 9, and then tomorrow for the dollar, Canada has some red folder news tomorrow. Employment change, unemployment rates. Yeah, there's no red folder news tomorrow for the dollar. Yeah, so today is kind of the last, I think, big number, unless news can always hit at any time, and somebody could leak what they think the Fed's going to do next week, and it's a week away. Next Wednesday, all week next week is going to be touchy because you just have a massive amount of economic data coming out. Interest rates and GDP, and yeah, it's just going to be full of potentially whipsaw action where you're getting whips in one direction and then whips in another, and then the next day you get a different news event that just could cut people up. So next week's going to be very interesting to see. But this is gold right now, and I'm kind of interested to see if we can get another push above the London session high here. London took out the Asian session low and then came back up, created a high. Is that the high for the day? Maybe. If we get some displacement here below and get a break of structure here, so, and it leaves behind a fair value gap, maybe this is your breaker candle on the 15-minute time frame. The last down candle that ran buy side liquidity, you would have wanted to see it come away really very rapidly. It didn't. It stalled a little bit, but that doesn't mean it can't displace now. We'll just have to watch and wait and see. The pound has come back up from, let's go back to the daily here. You can see the pound yesterday respected that trend line, didn't reach down into it, but this is all sell side liquidity here on this, underneath this trend line. And so you're going to expect some kind of run there into that liquidity at some point, whether that's this week or next. Maybe it's next week. If it wants to go higher, I'm guessing it's going to want to take out these relative equal lows from Tuesday and Wednesday. And then you've got the current weekly low here, and you've just got this whole trend line of sell side liquidity there. But you saw yesterday we had this big reaction off, did end up closing bullish, and then today it's just opened and pushed up. It's inside yesterday's range, so we still have the current drawing liquidity would be yesterday's high and yesterday's low. That's what we're going to be kind of looking at. You can see it went up, and 4-hour candle way up, next 4-hour candle way down. And you can see that even more aggressively on the hourly time frame, where we grabbed buy side liquidity, and we have not displaced lower, but we did shoot up aggressively and then shoot back down, and then it's just stalled out here. So we're, again, much like yesterday, I'm just going to watch and wait and see what our run on liquidity is going to be, and then see if we can identify a possible setup. We'll be patient, very patient. I'm in no hurry to get back into a trade. If we see an A+ setup forming, I'll call it out. And if I don't, again, I come into the markets every single trading session with the understanding that I'm not going to trade today. So my bias right now is I'm not going to trade. We're going to watch, and we're going to mark out our levels where we would expect something to potentially happen and what we might want to see happen. And if that trophy buck steps out, we got our one bullet to shoot today. We took it down yesterday. We got another rack on the wall, and our family feasted. We got to eat, and we ate good. And so we don't have to trade today. We're all set. We're ready to go. We're 2% in profit. We don't have to trade today. We don't have to trade again tomorrow. We're set for our payout on Sunday. But I take every A+ setup that I find. That's the way I operate. And for this 10K account, it's not life-changing money. And remember, the profits off of this 10K account will be used to purchase the largest account that I can with those profits, so that we can continue this snowball of stacking accounts all the way to 2 million. So that's why I'll still take another trade, man. If I could lock down another winner, then we'll be up 6% instead of 2%. But there is that risk of dropping back down close to break even anytime you're, and that's the kind of emotional and psychological dance that you have to do with yourself when you're managing these trades and you're close to payouts. So, but if I see a great setup, I am going to confidently take a trade. So we'll just have to wait and watch and see. Hey, Stock Don, welcome in. Wiley Bullock and Michael. Hey, thank you guys for jumping in here today. I haven't seen Wiley and Stock Don, man. Are you guys new? Welcome in if you are. Good. Stock Don says, good morning. What trade and lot size did you take to bring account back up? I appreciate you sharing with us. I'm down 3% on my 10K. I was down 2%. So we'll go over the euro dollar trade we took yesterday. Here was the setup. It was actually framed on the 5-minute time frame. If you'll go back and watch yesterday's live stream, I drew out the candles. Before this happened, price was like right around here, and I drew out. I said, I want to see this candle, and I want to see this candle, and I want to see a fair value gap, and then I would target the prior day's high. And right after we got on the stream or finished the stream yesterday, like 15 minutes later, we get this. It's identical to what I drew out on the charts before it all happened. So it was right around the 2-hour mark yesterday. You can go back and watch that stream and see what we drew out. But this is how it played out. We had a run on liquidity. We failed to make a new low. Instead, we broke through and displaced change of structure with a fair value gap. This became your breaker block, and you had a fair value gap nested inside of your breaker. We took that entry, targeted 1 to 2, which was in line with the prior day's high, and you can see we tapped in, and then 5, 10, 15, like 25 minutes later, just basically ran straight up to our TP. So great trade yesterday. My lot size is completely dependent on my stop loss. You cannot just trade a specific lot size. That's not risk management. You can't do that. Your lot size, your position that you go into the market with, is solely based on where's your stop. If this stop was 10 pips, then my lot size would have been a lot smaller. I think it was 8 pips, so this was like 2.5 lots. I think on this trade is what I have a trade assistant on my MT5 terminal that I just put the lines in where my entry will be, where my stop loss will be. I hit calculate, it auto calculates the lot size for me based on where my stop is. So that is that's how you determine lot size. If you just have a set lot size, no matter what trade you're taking, you're going to screw yourself up. Like, that is not a good risk management strategy to just have a set specific lot size. You cannot trade like that. It has to be based on wherever your stop loss is put. Otherwise, you're risking different amounts every single time. You're just risking different amounts. So, but that trade yesterday, we were down 2%. I risk 2% per trade. If you're new to the stream, that's how I trade, is I risk 2% per trade. Some people are not comfortable with that risk. And mostly that's because they're not comfortable with their own trading strategy and how they don't know what their win rate is. They don't know their data. They don't know, they don't have a set risk reward. And so they're constantly changing their risk management and their lot size and their risk percentage per trade. They're taking way too many trades. They're not trading only A+ setups. They're going to take, I'm going to risk this on an A+ setup, and I'm going to risk this on a B+ setup, and I'm going to risk this on a C+ setup. I don't trade that way. I only take A+ setups. So if I take an A+ setup, I'm going to risk 2% on it. And I have just above a 50% win rate. And because I have the data and the numbers, I know exactly what my win rate is. So far, since we've started phase 1 and phase 2, we we took 10 trades in phase 1 and phase 2, and we've taken 5 trades here on our funded account. So that's 15 trades total. If you take out the break evens, that's 11 trades total. and we've had 6 winners, and we've had 5 losers, which is obviously above 50% win rate. And that is perfectly in line with my historical trading data. I mean, that's exactly what my trading data looks like. Is I win between 55 and 60% of my trades. I might have a hot streak where I'll win 4 to 5 in a row, and I might have a losing streak where I lose 2 to 3 in a row. But I risk 2%. My risk reward ratio keeps me in the game, and I win twice as much as I lose when I win, and that's how trading works. That's what professional trading looks like. So, man, I'm glad you got a percentage gain. You just got 2% more to pull yourself out of drawdown. So, good luck to you, Stock Don, on how that works. Wiley says, "Good luck on your journey. Thank you for having the guts to do this live for others to see." Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much guts it takes. I don't really have any trading ego to protect. I don't really have. I'm not. While Venator Trading is obviously my brand that I created to do this, no one even knows who I am. No one cares. But this is what professional trading looks like. There are very few people that are sitting here teaching you how to pass challenges live every single trading session free on YouTube. I didn't have this. I wish I would have had this when I started 4.5 years ago. And maybe I wouldn't have had to fail 30 plus challenges before figuring out exactly what the hell was going on and actually could trade the way professional traders trade every single day in the marketplace. So I don't know how brave it is. People have so much ego involved, and they have a lot of these mentors and educators on Twitter and Instagram or wherever. They have a brand to protect, right? They have their business is built on educating people and telling people they know what they're doing. And so if they take it, it is a much higher risk for an established mentor, teacher, guru to get online and trade live every single freaking day. They have way more to lose because if they suck, they lose all of their paid subscribers to their courses and private discords and telegrams and signal services and whatever else it is they're doing. I have no following. I mean, there's like 140 people, I think, that subscribe to my YouTube channel. I think I've got like, I don't know, 275 Twitter followers. No one knows I exist. I have nothing to lose and everything to gain. And if I can consistently show people that this can be done, you can pass challenges if you will be patient, that you will have self-discipline and execute your trading plan. It doesn't even have to be the trading plan that I use here. Whatever trading plan you have, if you will just be patient and only take the premium setups that appear on your chart, and you have a solid risk reward ratio, you can pass these challenges and you can get funded and you can build and stack accounts. So I understand why people say, "Oh man, thanks for having the guts to do this." I don't think it takes a lot of guts to do this when you don't have anything to lose. And I don't have anything to lose. Again, no one knows anything about this. Eurodollar here is pushing up into approaching yesterday's high. So I'll be interested to see what happens. Yesterday, after it took out the previous day high, we had a massive quick reaction here. It's running up now, and really, obviously, it's going to take that out likely. That's the draw on liquidity. We can jump over to the dollar, and we can see the dollar drop down into this fair value gap, into this weekly volume imbalance or fair value gap, and massive reaction back up. And then at the close of the market to the open over or the overnight session, whatever you want to call it. Big gap down, and we've not filled it back in. So obviously this level for the dollar is a big important level. There was a lot of sell side liquidity there. It grabbed it and reversed, failed to take out and make a new higher high here. And so now we're pushing back down and we're right back at it again. So you can see the euro dollar is a much closer to taking out its previous day high. The dollar has a bigger chunk to grab yesterday's low. So I don't really have a bias. So we're stuck in a range right now. We're just stuck inside of a range on all these pairs this week. It's when you're trading ranges, we're going to look for moves on the extreme edge of those ranges. And so probably not going to do much here for me until I see a decent grab of liquidity. That is grabbing buy side liquidity here right now. I would be more inclined to think that it wants to take out yesterday's high. So we may have yet a further dig on buy side liquidity. But you can see we've had relative equal highs. There's buy stops up here. And if it wants to go lower, it's going to reach up into those liquidity areas before it heads down lower to take out maybe these relative equal lows. And then you've got the overnight London session low way down here. I don't know that it gets all the way back down here again today. We're just ranging around these last several weeks right here. Last 2 weeks, it's just choppy, super ugly and super choppy on euro dollar. And then same, a little bit, not quite as choppy on pound, but it's still trading back into this range here. And we're back kind of in the middle of it all right now. So range trading is not where I thrive. I can execute in that environment because I have a 1-to-2 risk reward ratio. I do not have to be 100% accurate on my daily bias because you can get a run on liquidity, displacement away, and from that capture a 1-to-2 risk reward ratio, get in, get out, and still be good. Now, I want to trade in the direction of the bias. That's my initial goal, is always trade in a daily bias direction. I want to be in line with the daily expansion, the weekly expansion, the monthly expansion. So I want to be trading in line with what those higher time frames are trying to do. But when it's unclear and when it's ranging and just chopping back and forth, then you're really only looking to take trades around the extremes of the range. So we'll watch and wait and see if we get this liquidity grab. So you've seen all this consolidation. So you see accumulation right here. Is this manipulation? Well, we don't know if this is going to be manipulation until we get displacement away that runs aggressively away in the opposite direction. If you get this energetic move away after it's grabbed buy side liquidity, either here or off of yesterday's daily high, if you get displacement away quickly, then you could expect a reversal and target the downside of that range. Gold, I really liked this gold move. We've had a run on stops here, buy side liquidity. I'm wondering if we dig a little bit deeper into this no wick candle here on the 15-minute time frame. I'm wondering if we pop up into there today before we head lower. So I'm watching all of that. Let me get back over here to the to the chat. There's a bunch of stuff going on. Let me read through this real quick, guys. Stock, yeah, seen your page yesterday. Cool. Michael says, I wanted it short after taking out Tuesday's high yesterday on the 15-minute breaker, but it didn't come up. Yeah, it dropped hard. There was no, it never came back and gave you an entry. It would have been a great play, Michael. Excuse me, my throat is still not feeling great, so I am feeling a little bit better from yesterday physically. Um, my throat still isn't great. I did go out and do the honey and onion cough syrup yesterday. I don't know if it actually helped. I mean, I do feel better today. My throat doesn't feel like I've been swallowing glass shards all day, so maybe it helped. Maybe it was the honey onion cough syrup I made. Stockdon, okay, I see. I'm still trying to learn the lot sizes. I took the sell down, but with a 0.25, so it wasn't much. Pip wise was great. Now I'm holding it. You got to stop thinking in pips. You have to stop thinking in pips captured. Pips captured means absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. All you need to focus on is where is your stop loss? How much are you risking? How much do you want to risk per trade? You have got to this has got to be part of your trading plan is I will risk this much per trade. Then it doesn't matter how many pips it is. You're just going for a 1 to 2 or a 1 to 1.5 or a 1 to 3, whatever your risk reward ratio is for your strategy. Forget pips. Forget it. You don't need to worry about how many pips you captured. Pips mean nothing. All of these signal service providers, they brag about how many pips they captured. 200 pip move, 50 pip move. Well, if you're risking 50 pips and then you only make 25 pips, that's a 1 to 0.5 risk reward ratio. You have to have, I want to say, like an 85% win rate. It doesn't matter how many pips you're making. It matters how many pips you're risking because that's going to determine your lot size. Okay. So that's baby pips 101. If you're not clear on how to if you're not clear on how to get the right position size on your trades, you are not ready to take a challenge. You're not ready. If that's things that you're still confused about, you need to go to babypips.com and you need to educate yourself on the very basics. That's not what this live stream is for. You need to get a very clear grasp on how to position size your trades based on the size of stop loss, based on the pair that you're trading, that's based on the your base currency that your account's in. I mean, all those things come into play. I just use a trade assistant. I can do it on my phone if I need to, if I'm away. There are lot size calculators for free online. You can just put in euro dollar, 8 pips stop loss, $200 risk. What's my lot size? And then it tells you exactly what your lot size will be. I use a trade assistant for MT5 that does it all for me. I'm just reading back through the chats here. I've been talking a little bit and not really paying attention. Yeah, I'm seeing it's not the rate, but the risk and reward you come out. I see you have 3 losses and 2 wins, so you're making more than your risk. Yeah. Win twice as much as you lose. And we're profitable. Any additional advice on revenge trading and how you actually wait for these A+ setups? I mean, this is going to sound sarcastic, and I'm not meaning it to be, but you just wait. A few people have DM'd me on Twitter asking some similar things like, what are the tips you have for being patient? Be patient. Get your hand, close your terminal. Don't even have your terminal open unless you see your setup starting to form. You have to be patient. You just have to sit and wait. There is no rush. Unless you're trading with a time limit firm that they have a deadline on how much time you have to hit a certain percentage profit target in, there is no rush. Absolutely no rush. Just wait. Just be patient. One of the things I was talking to a guy on Twitter yesterday. He was asking me something about just the how do you deal with emotional uh, issues like that come from trading, and how do you stop yourself from making a bad decision? Okay, I'm going to tell you one of the things that I did that helped me was basically doing what I'm doing right here, talking, but I was talking to myself, not to a live stream, not to people watching online. I was talking to myself. And I would sit here and I would say, I would talk it out loud and be like, Brad, why are you wanting to take this challenge? What are you feeling right now? Are you feeling afraid that you're about to miss something? Well, what is the truth? Are you about to miss something? You don't know. Is the market going to be here tomorrow? Yes. Does this look like your A plus setup? No. Well, then why the hell are you thinking about taking this trade right now? When you talk out loud to yourself, sometimes you can hear how stupid you sound about the decision that you're going to make. And sometimes that's the slap across the face that you need to be like, I want to be a professional trader. This is not what professional traders do. So stop acting like an amateur and do what needs to be done, or you're going to continue to fail. And so when you can preach to yourself the gospel of your trading rules over and over and over, and you talk it out, why are you angry right now? What are you so angry about? And where is that anger coming from? And then talk it through and like literally out loud talk to yourself. And be the coach that sits up on your shoulder talking in your ear like, hey, you can't do this. You got to stop. Close the charts. The market's going to be here tomorrow. It's going to be here the next day. It's going to be here the day after that. There's going to be an A plus setup form. But ultimately, following the rules that you have for your trading plan, the only person that can make you do that is you. No one else can make you follow your trading plan. No one else can make you follow your own rules. And so I'm not trying to sound like a jerk by talking to you like this, but that's how I had to talk to myself to get me to realize you're being an idiot, you're being dumb, you're acting childish, your ego's in the way, your pride means nothing, let it go. There's nothing to be afraid of. You're not missing anything. Like I had to talk to myself all the time. I had ingrained so many bad habits. And really, the only other thing I'll say about this is that you can't be afraid to lose. You just can't. If you lose, you lose. You lose a trade, you're going to lose trades. And if losing a trade jacks you up emotionally, then you're not ready to be a professional trader. You're not ready. Losing is part of the game. And for my specific strategy, I lose basically half my trades, 50% of my trades. I know that I'm going to lose over the course of 100, I'm going to lose 45 to 50 trades. I know I'm going to win over the course of 100 trades, 55 to 60. And I'm going to win twice as much on those trades than I do when I lose. And that's what risk management is all about. And that's what successful traders do. They win way more on their winners than they lose on their losers. And there's traders out there that do 1 to 3, 1 to 4, 1 to 1, 1 to 1.5. It doesn't matter whatever it is. You have to know your numbers, and you have to do your you have to make yourself follow your plan. No one else can do it. Michael says, would be nice if we take out yesterday's high and then displace lower in the news. Yeah, hopefully, man. That's kind of what I'm eyeballing. It's kind of what I'm waiting for is we took it out some buy side. We've left yesterday's high in place. So maybe we get a run up here into above yesterday's high. And then we displace lower. Of course, Wednesday's high could be the high of the week. But since we're in a range, I would be more inclined to see yesterday's high be taken out before we make a run lower. Gold's not doing much. Pound is not doing much either. So we're just watching and waiting, guys. I'm just going through the chats here. Hey, morning, Jack. No worries if you don't want to answer, but what software do you use to record your face and chart at the same time? Streamlabs OBS. I use Streamlabs OBS. And I knew nothing about it when I started this a month ago. I knew nothing about streaming. I knew nothing about how to capture this. Absolutely nothing. And there's a lot that Streamlabs does that I have absolutely no idea how to work and make it look better. I know this looks janky up here where I'm sure there's a way to make that look nicer. There's a way that I could actually put the chat on the screen. I mean, Streamlabs OBS was designed for Twitch streamers, but it works on YouTube as well. It's just a streaming software, but it's mainly built for Twitch streamers, gamers, to have all kinds of cool fancy overlays and, alerts like when you get a new subscriber, it pops up, and if people donate money or whatever, pops up. I don't have all that set up. I don't really care about it. Stock system, that's different. Never heard it that way. If you risk 100, you want to make 200 to 300. Yeah, I risk 200 on a 10K account. I'm risking $200 per trade on this 10K account. So when I lose $200. When I win 400. Just like yesterday. Yeah, Stock Don, man, I would recommend you go check out babypips.com, man. Some of the questions that you're asking and some of the things that you're saying in the chat really make me think that there's more education that needs to take place, some basic beginner education that needs to take place on your end before you get into more challenges. Understanding risk management, understanding your risk reward ratio, understanding position sizing, understanding stop loss and how that affects your position size. There's a lot of, it seems there's some holes in your understanding. And I'm not trying to cut on you. I'm not trying to dig on you. That's just me reading what you're writing in here. And basically that's what I would recommend is you need some more basic foundational education about how trading works before you're ready to jump into managing these challenges. So please, I'm not trying to offend you at all. I'm just trying to be honest and be a coach. And if I saw a player on my baseball team that didn't understand what a double play was, or understand how to take a ground balls or catch pop flies, or how to swing a bat, I would be like, hey man, you need to go get some help and then come back if you want to get on this team. I'm kind of saying the same thing, man. Stock down, if you risk the same dollar amount every trade, then you can make the same risking 5 pips to gain 10 pips as if you risk 50 pips. Yep, that's exactly right, Michael. It's risk reward, not pip. Hey, Steven. Dollar isn't as close to yesterday's low as EU is to yesterday's high, so that is interesting. It is, yeah. Dollar has some room here to run to grab yesterday's low. It would have to move quite aggressively down. And you can see Euro is just right here. It doesn't have much more room to reach up in that high. So maybe you get some SMT. Maybe Euro grabs and takes out yesterday's high. and dollar leaves yesterday's low in place, and we get some SMT, and the dollar rallies. Um, so it's just it's starting to squeeze down, right? So prices failing to make higher highs, and it's failing to make lower lows, and it's just kind of squeezing in. It's winding up and accumulating all for next week's news events. So that's what's happening. That's what we're watching. Um, so we're just watching and waiting, guys. We're going to be patient, and we're just sitting up in our tree stand waiting for that trophy buck to show up. My play currently that I'm anticipating is euro dollar to see euro dollar take out yesterday's high. That's what this red line is, yesterday's high. And then see if we get some displacement away from that. And we do have some unemployment claim numbers coming out in about 45 minutes. Maybe that brings in some volatility to the market here and gives us the displacement we need. It's amazing what one day difference does after taking a loss, and then the next day you take a winner. Like Tuesday we took that loss. We were down 2%, and I had people messaging me on Twitter and just be like, "Man, how do you?" It makes me so mad when I take a loss. How do you feel? And I'm like, I don't feel nothing. I'm never happy that I take a loss, y'all. Like, it's not that you should feel bad. It's not that you should feel good. It's just that you accept and understand that losses are inevitable. And when you take a loss, for me, it's almost like, and I had taken 2 in a row. Anytime I take a loss 2 or 3 times in a row, I know a winner is about to happen. I know what my system is, and it just doesn't bother me. Like, I didn't get depressed on Tuesday when I took that loss, and I wasn't stressed out all day thinking, oh my God, I'm down 2% and I'm live streaming and everybody thinks I'm going to suck and I'm not going to get a payout. And why did I even do this? I was stupid. Like, I used to think like that. But then I realized, oh, well, I have an edge. I know what my edge is. If I just take my A+ setups, I'm going to win half these trades or more. And if I take a loss, that just means I'm about to take a winner. And I'll wipe out that loss and double it. So that's why yesterday when I sat down at the markets, I was patient, waited. I laid out exactly what I wanted to see. I was not afraid to take another loss. When price came in and wicked us in and started dropping down and we got about a third of the way through our stop loss, I don't care. We could have taken that and been down 4%. It just doesn't bother me. Like, I realize that you have to let the trades play out. You have to let your system's edge play out. Euro reaching up here for a little bit closer to its yesterday's high. Dollar is moving lower, but not. It's got to get pretty far down into this zone, and it could drop down there and grab it, but we don't need it to. Euro, though, is digging up a little bit deeper here. Gold is pretty stagnant. Hey, Nan, good morning. Hey, Sam, good morning. Welcome in, guys. Welcome back to the tree stand. Sitting in the woods, enjoying the view. I've only been hunting a very few times in my life, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I do thoroughly enjoy being out. Give me a hike in the woods or in the mountains over a walk on the beach every day. I love walking on the beach. Um, I married a beacher. I married my wife loves going to the beach, sitting on the beach, getting in the water. I do not. I don't like all the sand. It gets everywhere. It's not comfortable. I do like walking on the beach, walking in the surf, just like having the waves come up while you're walking, hitting your feet. I love that. I love watching the ocean. I just don't like getting in it, and I don't like sitting on the beach. I would much rather be in the woods, hiking, in the mountains, hiking. Like that's my zen state for me. Yesterday's entry was very good. Yeah, it worked out. Happy for that. It was a great entry, and if you watch the stream, we literally drew out these candles and said we want to see this, we want to see this, and then we want to see a Variegat and an entry. Like we literally drew those exact candles out and said, if it does this, we're taking a trade. And right after we got off the stream, and we drew that out when price was down here. Like 15, 20 minutes before it happened, we drew it all out. We got off the stream and it worked out great. It was a beautiful setup, great A+ setup. We ran sell side liquidity. The London move up had just been strong. All of the entire London session had been moving up. And so when price failed to move back lower into London, then we could anticipate that the previous day's high would be targeted as a draw on liquidity, and we were able to get a 1 to 2 in that. So it was just a really good setup there. Thanks, Stephen. I know that you guys, I appreciate the compliments. I do. I don't feel like it was nice work. And what I mean by that is, uh, it felt pretty boring and natural in that if the nice work was I was patient and I waited for everything to line up before I took my trade, then yes, that is nice work. That's the thing I'm probably most excited about when I win a trade. That's a good setup, is that I was patient and I waited and I executed exactly the way my trading plan told me to execute. If I do that, win or lose, I'm happy with the day. That's good work. Even a losing trade is still good work if you followed your plan and you did exactly what you wanted to do. That's still good work. So the loss we took on Tuesday when price almost got to break even, but it didn't, and then it came back up and hit our stop loss, that was good work too. It did exactly what we wanted. We had the setup that we wanted. We got the entry that we wanted. Price did react and move in our favor. It just did not get to our break-even point, and it ended up hitting stop loss, but that was good work too. I know what you mean, and I'm not trying to discount. I appreciate the compliments. It was a great trade yesterday. I'm happy that we won. I'm always happy when I win a trade. But I'm probably more happy that we were disciplined and patient, and we waited for that trophy buck to get exactly where we wanted before we took our shot. And we put up another rack on the wall. So happy about that. Yeah, man. Do what Steven said. Hit that like button. It definitely helps push content out to other people. We're growing slowly but surely. It was really weird. After we passed phase 2 and got funded, we had this massive bump in Twitter subscribers and YouTube subscribers. I don't know why the algorithm decided to push that, but it did. And so over the weekend, from passing phase 2 to trading the live account, we we saw a massive bump. Like we had, I don't know, maybe 12 to 15 subscribers on YouTube. And then once we got funded, that jumped up to like, where are we at? Like 144 now. 150, something like that. I don't know. And Twitter, I had like 30 followers on Twitter, and now we're at like 275. So I don't know why the algorithm decided to grab after we passed that and push that out to a lot of people, but it did. So, and I'm grateful for it. My guess is that the more success that I have trading this account and showing receipts, basically, and proving credibility and validity to what I'm doing, more and more people will want to watch. What I'm doing here is what people are paying $100 a month or more for in private communities, and their mentors are not streaming for hours every single day, showing them how to do this. So I'm hopeful, and it's not that I'm trying to steal other people's students. Like if you're in a community and you have a mentor that you love and you love what's going on, I'm not trying to steal anything. I'm not trying to. That's not my goal. My goal is to get out to the people who aren't in private communities and are just having a hard time passing these challenges and helping them. When I first started, I didn't have money to. I had enough money to buy a challenge. I didn't have enough money to consistently pay a monthly premium to get into a community and watch someone trade live and teach me how to do this. And that's really what I was trying to focus on. And I've seen no one document live for free every trading session how they're going to take a 10K funded account and grow it to a prop firm's maximum funding amount. So it was both of those things. It's like, hey, here's something that I'm not aware of anybody documenting and putting all of this online every single day. I don't think anybody's done it that I know of. If they have, I haven't seen it. So just trying to pioneer a different niche, so to speak, in how people can live stream and grow a channel, basically, all while being helpful and coaching and teaching and demonstrating how this can actually work. All right, we got about 2 more minutes until our 8 o'clock hour rollover here. The daily high from yesterday is still in place. This 1 hour candle is closing very bullish. And you can see this was yesterday. We took out the high and then it dropped. We've come back up now. I do imagine that that's going to get run. And then we're just going to watch and wait and see what happens after that. We will watch and wait. Excuse me. My throat still does not feel great. It feels better. Doesn't feel great. You do have some relative equal lows down here on our 30-minute time frame. That could be a potential after you run this liquidity. Could be your draw on liquidity here. You can see it ran the Asian session low here. Once it does that, it displaces back up. And left behind a small little fair value gap inside here. Didn't reach back into it, just displaced higher. And once it does this, once it reaches into this sell side and displaces away, you can immediately target and go, yep, where's the next draw on liquidity? Well, not just the hourly high, but yesterday's high is your draw on liquidity. All right, we're into our new hour here, so we'll watch and wait. We got news, some unemployment numbers coming out in about 30 minutes. So potentially you see a spike and a drop, or you see a spike down into this liquidity, reaching back into an OTE area of the London move up. So you had this big London drop, Judas swing, and then you get the real move for London. And so you could see a potential. You do have these relative equal lows here. You could see the news come out, pushes you lower, maybe reaches back down into a discount of this leg. Again, we don't know what's going to happen, but that fair value gap lines up with price being back into a discount, and then you continue the London continuation. The thin targets, much like yesterday, if it leaves this in place and then a news hits and drops down, then you would use these two highs as your drawing liquidity, and this would just be a stop run, liquidity grab. So, there's different options in play here, and we're just going to watch and see what price does. Steven, Bespoke is awesome. I highly recommend them. That's obviously who I'm not affiliated with them. I do have an affiliate link on my YouTube page, on my YouTube channel, on my banner somewhere. They're great. They have a 5% daily drawdown limit and a 10% max drawdown limit with an 8% profit target for phase 1 and a 5% profit target for phase 2. My Funded FX is great. Also, Bespoke has no time limits. My Funded FX is great. They also have no time limit, but their daily drawdown is 4% and their max drawdown is 8%. They are running a huge anniversary sale where it's 50% off. I'm not sure if it's every account or if it's just like those small, like 10K and 25K. So it's a great deal right now. Bespoke is also running some discounts. I think it's like 12 and they actually have 3 different discounts that you can pick from depending on what's most important to you. So if you just want a cheaper price, then you can get, like 25% off. Or you can get a 130% refund, but you get a smaller discount, like 12% off. If you want a larger lifetime payout on an account, you can use that code. So you just go and check out all the different discounts. But I would definitely pick a no time limit firm. So My Funded FX is a great one. Bespoke is really good. Funded Engineer is a new firm, but they seem to be doing really well. But if it were me, I would probably use Bespoke only because, and I'm not just saying that because I'm using that, but you get a larger drawdown amount to work with Bespoke than you do with My Funded FX. So, and if you use that affiliate link, I get a commission if you use that link to purchase with, but you don't have to. I don't give a crap about that. I really don't. I will be using, so I get a payout on June 11th. And whatever that amount is, I'll be using Bespoke again. Obviously, we're trying to grow this account that I have with Bespoke all the way to 2 million. And the reason I picked Bespoke is because their max funded account is $2 million before scaling. Means you can purchase up to $2 million in accounts. Most of the other ones are like 300K, 600K. I think there might be one other that's $1 million. But Bespoke offers $2 million in max allocation. And that's what we're going for. Man, my throat is starting to not feel great again. All the talking, I guess, is probably not good for it. Euro dollar making a run for yesterday's high. Currently, dollar's dropping. Still has quite a bit of room here to run to take out its low. So if euro takes out its high before the dollar takes out its low and everything reverses, that would be a pretty good signal that euro is going to drop. Funded Next, I don't know very much about. I know they're a decent firm. They've been around a while, and I think they just introduced a no time limit called Stellar. Their Stellar Challenge or Stellar account has no time limits. I don't know anything else about it. I don't know what their pricing structure is. I don't know what their drawdown limits are. I don't know what their rules are as far as consistency, minimum days, EAs, copy trading, all that kind of stuff. I have no idea. So you need to take into account, like if you plan on copy trading, there are some firms that don't allow copy trading. So you just need to make sure you've read through all of those rules, read all the fine print before you decide. Euro's popped through and taken out its previous day high. Dollar has not. So now we're going to watch and wait and see how does price respond now that we've just taken out the previous day high. Oftentimes you get a reaction off of those previous day highs. And so we're just going to watch and wait. You're going to want to see a structure shift, displacement away from a liquidity grab. Pound has not taken out its previous day high. It's way up here. Dollar is still dropping, but it's still got quite a bit of room to go here. Gold is pushing up. Again, for gold, I would want to see it take out that wick here on this candle, reach into this sell side imbalance, and see what kind of reaction we get off of gold in here. I took a trade yesterday on a different challenge with the funded trader. It was an account that I hadn't been able to pass and it had just been rolling over. If you're in profit, it just resets because the funded trader has a time limit. And I actually even forgot I had it. But yesterday I was going back through my MT4 and I realized, oh my God, I still have this account and I hadn't taken any trades on it. And I had set this 30-minute fair value gap. I talked about it in the live stream yesterday. I had a limit order on this 30-minute order block right here at the base of it. I got in right here. I got out right here and made 10% on that trade and passed that challenge yesterday. So it's now in phase 2. Has nothing to do with this live stream, so don't worry about it. But I did take that trade and pass a phase 1 challenge in one trade yesterday. Different system, different trading plan. Has nothing to do with what we're doing here. But this is what I'm kind of waiting to see here. I want to see what happens inside this, another dig up into here. Rebalance some of this and then target these relative equal lows down here, this drawn liquidity. So we've had a little bit of a pullback here now off of the euro dollar from that. We've had no change in structure and we've had no displacement. So until we see displacement away, here's your sell side drawn liquidity. Your first sell side drawn liquidity is going to be right here under these relative equal lows. You have a no wick candle down here and you have another one way down here that it could be wanting to reach into. And then of course this fair value gap, it's about 50% of a discount area. So we taken out yesterday's high and what is going to happen? We're going to watch and wait. We will be patient. One more trade with Stop, wait for payout. No, I'm not sure if you're asking if that's what you're doing or if you're asking me if that's what I'm doing. I'm not. I'm not going to stop trading to wait on the payout. If I get an A plus trade set up today, I'll take it, win or lose. And if I get one tomorrow, I'll take it, win or lose. So we'll just watch and wait. I'm gonna and I've said this before. Whatever your edge is, you have to participate in every event that your edge is present for your edge to work out. That's why casinos make all the money that they make. So we're seeing some displacement down on I don't like to. I'm not gonna show you that. You're getting some displacement down on the 1 minute time frame. You took out yesterday's high. You're seeing displacement low. You can see it's gap down. I'm not saying it won't make another deeper run up here, but you've had your 1, 2, 3 run into liquidity, and then you've had displacement away. I don't trade the 1 minute time frame on this strategy, but you can see you've had a run on liquidity and then a drop below. It didn't clear out this yet, which is really what you would want to see, but we don't do anything lower than a 5 minute time frame here. We're going to want to see a change of structure with displacement on a 5 minute time frame or 15 minute before we would want to participate in any kind of move lower. Gold is just in the big range here, so we're going to want to see some manipulation and displacement on gold as well as pound. Euro is the only one that's taken out its previous day's high so far. It's the only one that has actually reached into a liquidity void currently. No minimum days, no limits, $3 per lot. No ghost, no trades missed today. Nothing is happening. We're just watching and waiting. It's 8:15. We have some news. Some unemployment numbers are coming out in about 15 minutes. And so probably not going to be taking any positions until after that. We'll see if they're not listed as red folder news, but any numbers and data that comes out that has to do with the economy has the potential to introduce volatility into the markets. So we will likely wait 15 more minutes. Nothing's going to happen on this 15-minute time frame anyway. It's going to take at least on a 15-minute time frame, it's going to take 2 to 3 15-minute candles for setups to form. So there's no rush. And even on a 5-minute time frame, it takes 2 or 3 5-minute candles. So a whole 15-minute candle bar would have to form. So no trades yet. So GU didn't take yesterday high. Dollar didn't take yesterday low. EU took the high. We have a divergence. All we need is displacement. Basically, yeah. You have divergence, also called SMT. ICT calls it SMT, smart money technique, smart money tool. And it's basically when you have a correlated pairs, when one takes out a liquidity grab and the other one doesn't on its correlated chart, it often is a signal, a reversal signal away from that. So but they're not 100%. There's nothing 100% in trading. Only thing that's 100% in trading is you're going to lose. That's it. That is the only guaranteed outcome of being a trader. You will lose. And that's what a lot of people just can't deal with. That's why a lot of people just quit. Yeah, I'm sorry about this, man. I know that's annoying as crap to listen to somebody clear their throat and cough. So I'm trying to keep my throat moistened there, but it's not working so good right now. Got 11 viewers on our stream right now. I think that's the high of the day. I think we had like 18 earlier this week at one point. I'm always interested to be like, man, are these regular? Are these just people popping in for 2 minutes and then realizing, oh, this guy doesn't trade the 1 minute time frame and call out 5 trades a day. And then they bail. Or if this is actually, no, these are like regular guys that are watching, because we only get like 4 or 5 people talking in the chat. Euro trying to make another run higher here. Dollar is still dropping. Yeah, I imagine there's people that it shows up on their, on the side of their YouTube page or whatever. Somebody's live, they're trading, and then they pop in. They're like, oh, maybe this guy will give me a signal. And then they look down and they see I've had 2 wins and 3 losses in 9 days. And they're like, 5 trades in 9 days? I take 5 trades every session. Yeah, the dopamine hits they get off of trading those, I promise you they don't compare to the dopamine hits you get from a payout. That's where the real dopamine hit gets. It's not in gambling, it's in getting payouts. Hey, Casper. First day just watching, not much time today. We'll watch the full stream tomorrow. Cool. Welcome in, buddy. Follow on Twitter too, because there have been several trades that don't form during the stream, and I put everything on Twitter. I had a guy message me yesterday. He screenshot the entry for Eurodollar that I posted, and he was like, "Do you put these signals up every day?" And I'm like, "Well, not every day, but every time I take a trade, I do." Oh man, I'm following. Like, I am not a signal provider. I'm not doing this to give you trades. I post that information on Twitter so that after I've hit $2 million in funding, there's no one that can be like, he cherry picked, those weren't real, he didn't call it. I'm trying to be as completely transparent on everything that I'm doing on these accounts. Phase 1, phase 2, funded, stacking. I'm trying to show you exactly how to do this. I'm laying out the roadmap. If we displace down, do you consider the 615 15-minute candle as a breaker, or the 730, 735 5-minute candles as breaker? This candle right here on the 5-minute would be my breaker. This move started. So here's your liquidity, right? Where did liquidity get grabbed from? Here. You could use these because it continued to make new highs. From a 15-minute standpoint, this move started down here off of this bearish candle. I don't know if that answered your question very clearly or not, but we've got about 10 minutes for the news to come out. And everything is just moving slightly sideways at the moment. You did get this 15-minute grab of liquidity here on the pound dollar. Nice little dump into this buy side liquidity. It doesn't have to take out previous day high, but it did take that out. So you're going to want to see a shift in structure away with displacement, and I would probably I don't know. We're just going to have to watch and wait. I don't have a clear vibe on exactly which candle I would use for a breaker. It might be these two combined for euro dollar. This big run down into the previous day high. So maybe somewhere right in here for if you're using the 5-minute to determine this. On the 15, this would be your last down candle before you ran the previous day high. It did not. So basically, if you look at the daily time frame right now, if it runs away from this area right here, you're leaving behind relative equal highs for another run maybe tomorrow. But you can see we're inside this range here. So it could still come all the way up into this daily order block right here, which was a weekly volume imbalance is what that line is right there. So it could still run up. That's where the top of your range is. The extreme of this range is right here. So it doesn't have to just turn around here. It could make another dig higher. Look at the 4-hour. This is the fair value gap that it's currently holding and respecting. One hour. This is your fair value gap that it's holding and respecting. There's no more fair value gaps up there. 30-minute. This order block right here, you would probably anticipate it being held. So if you get a deeper dig up into this liquidity, maybe right into this level right here, into that order block. But you can see it's respecting that fair value gap. Running up into it, falling away. It's done it multiple times now. Rebalancing that price. I love watching the market move, man. Why it stops where it stops, why it turns where it turns. It's fascinating. I'm surprised my doggies haven't come down. The news is about to hit. They always come down right when the news is about to hit to go to the bathroom. Anybody watch ICT's video he put up last night? Something about gap theory or whatever. I haven't watched it. I am always still trying to educate myself, but there comes a point where you understand what your system and your strategy is and you master it. And not that you're ever really master it, but you know it inside and out. And the more you try to educate and learn, you start tweaking with what's already working, and you run the risk and danger of screwing up what has already been very profitable. So it's not that I don't like watching ICT stuff anymore. I will. I listen to some of his Twitter spaces mostly because it's entertaining, and he can be quite motivational and just you know helping people really feel good about this being a viable career. So you see the dollar now dropping down towards closer to its previous day low. Euro is not running higher while the dollar is dropping lower. You see this? So dollar's dropping lower. Euro is not making the same push up. Pound is making its push up to take out the session high. The high from the London session here is trying to take that out. So we'll see if we get a bigger run. So there it is. Pound just took out the London session high. Dollar is dropping aggressively now towards its previous day low. Euro is pushing and digging up higher as we come into about 5 minutes left with the news here. So we'll wait and see. Remember, I pointed out this 30-minute order block right here. I would be interested to see how price reacts. If it digs up that high, what happens inside that wick area right there on this 30-minute order block? If it gets that high, what does price do right there? I don't know what it'll do, but that would be, I would expect some kind of, if we're going to be bearish, I would expect some kind of reaction potentially off of this order block. Get over there. That 30-minute order block. We're inside this fair value gap and just at the top edge of it, currently outside of it. As price pushes above yesterday's high. Pound grabs that liquidity and is pulling back now a little bit. And dollar is still not taking out its previous day's low. Gold stabbing up into this area right here. Remember, I said I wanted to see gold. How does gold respond on this no wick candle inside this fair value gap? So we're just watching. We're going to wait and see. It's buy side liquidity deeper into this fair value gap. Watching and waiting. We now made a much more aggressive run above yesterday's high. Dollar still has not taken out its low. Pound pulling back after the grab of liquidity. So, what are we going to get? We've got about 40 seconds here until the news drops here. We'll see what kind of reaction we get. All right, here we go. Gaps up. Dollar gapped lower, did not take out its low. It's trying to. Pound jumps up, euro jumps up. We're into the wick range of that 30-minute order block. It's pushing through pretty heavily there. Dollar still hasn't taken its low, but it looks like it's going to try to do so. All right, Xanax man. Thanks for checking in. Thanks for watching. All right, the dollar is taking out its low. Gold has jumped up into this buy side, sell side imbalance, taking out the wick candle here. So we're going to see now we're getting a grab of liquidity. So the dollar's taking out its low, euro's taking out its high. What happens now? You have a big gap here on euro dollar. It just jumped up and took off up here. Unemployment numbers. This was not a red folder news event, but it's acting like it. I don't even know what the numbers are. Let me pull up the economic calendar here. See what happened. So I'm not sure what happened. It didn't even print any in. It is a red folder news. I have it as medium folder news. I don't have it as red folder news. But I don't even see it. It hasn't even printed the numbers. I don't see it anywhere. Initial jobless claims. Oh, here we go. Okay. So initial jobless claims came in way hotter. They had forecast 235. They came in at 261. The continuing jobless claims were forecast at 1,800, and they actually dropped to 1,757. The 4-week average jobless claims have risen, which would mean unemployment should be going up. If there's more people making jobless claims, it means they're unemployed. Which would mean that the economy might be cooling off and the likelihood of a Fed interest rate hike could be lower for next week. You're seeing a pullback now here after that run of liquidity. Do we get displacement now lower? Pound didn't take out its previous day high. Dollar has taken out its previous day high and pulling back now. Gold also pulling back. We'll just watch and wait and see what kind of, if any, displacement we get away from these liquidity grabs. Or is it not going to displace and just continue higher? All very good likelihoods. I'm more inclined to want to take a short here than to take a long, mainly because we're approaching the extreme range of our daily kind of consolidation area here. We're reaching that top part of that range. Price is stabbed into that 30-minute order block here. So yeah, I'm just kind of watching. It's left that volume gap, volume imbalance here. We'll watch and wait. Nothing's happening. Nothing to get excited about. You see these big candles start popping off. You're like, oh my God, I could have just made $1,000. You have no idea that could have been the opposite direction. It's just a complete gamble. So you wait for the news to pass. You let it do the damage that it wants to do. And then you look to see if your setup is there. And it may not be there today. I'm up 2% on my account. Totally fine with staying at 2% and not taking a trade. I sit down every trading session expecting not to find a trade. That's how I approach every single trading session. There's nothing going to be there for me today. That's what I think. I need to be convinced, like thoroughly convinced that I should put my capital at risk, it's got to be a high probability setup. Just continuing a pretty aggressive run higher here. We may not get our displacement at all. Massive push up into this 4-hour order block here. I'm sorry. No, this is the weekly volume imbalance. Sorry. So what does price want to do in and around this weekly volume imbalance? We've traded through it. We're coming back up into it now. What reaction, if any, will we get from that? We failed to displace and make a new low here. Will we displace higher and start a new bull run to take out these relative equal highs and reach up into this weekly volume imbalance up here? Who knows? We've been in a 6-week decline, probably due for some kind of retracement. If your euro's been bullish on the weekly time frame, displacement, change of structure, pullback, new high. Didn't really displace above this high. It just grabbed that liquidity. So this could have just been a liquidity grab that we're ultimately going to try and reach down for these areas. Here, around 105-ish area. Again, that 30-minute order block that I was pointing out over here, this 30-minute order block is the one I was wanting to see. The wick to the body is typically a pretty sensitive area, but it just blew right through that. And it has blown through these fair value gaps now. Completely violated them. So your next draw on liquidity is up here above that weekly volume imbalance. This is that weekly volume imbalance here that we will be interested to see. Does this, it acted as support over way back here. It's acted as resistance here. Does it act as resistance again? We only know that when we get displacement away after a big buy-side liquidity. We've reached up into it now. Dollar showing heavy weakness. It's still inside all this range here, so I would anticipate as we're going into next week that this range stays intact today and tomorrow. That's why I'm more inclined to think that it's not going to like just take off today and tomorrow and start rocketing down. I think that happens next week one way or the other. It's either going to rocket up or rocket down. I think we get our direction for the remainder of June after next week's news events. $0758 to $7710. Yeah, I mean, this is just that weekly liquidity void, volume imbalance, whatever you want to call it here. So my guess is, my educated guess is that this is going to act as resistance, and it will either today or tomorrow just kind of pull back in here, engineering liquidity at the top of the range and the bottom of the range for the news next week. I do hear my dogs coming down the stairs, so I'm going to turn my camera off and my mic off just for a minute. I'm going to let them get outside and do their business. At least I thought I heard them. Maybe not. When they do, it'll be any minute now. All right. Here they come. I hear them running down the stairs. So let me get off for just a couple minutes. I'll be right back. All right, we're back. Everything is painted on the 1 hour. ICT says roll the paint up, paint down on 1 hour. Everything is painted. Yep. Interesting reaction there, isn't it? It's crazy how price responds at certain levels. Big run on liquidity. After taking out yesterday's high, aggressive reaction. Now we take out yesterday's high. Sorry, previous day's high, reaction, previous day's high. What are we going to get today? Gold just digging up higher. It has filled in all of its volume imbalance. Reaching back up into its range here. Inside this, so there's a breaker. So you had this down move, run liquidity, displace below. So these 3 consecutive down candles would be your hourly breaker here on gold. And it's just in this ugly, ugly range. I'm not a fan of range trading at all. just not. US 30 still looking like crap. So we reacted off of that level up there. Be interested to see what happens here. Pound leaving yesterday's high in place. Reaching up to about 50% of this fair value gap. Dollar pulling back now a little bit. Euro pulling back on the 15, on the 5. We're going to need... God, I'm sorry, y'all. For me, I'm going to need to see some displacement here on the 5-minute. This is the push down that started the push up. So if we're going to see displacement here, it's got to be pretty aggressive down. You don't want to see it just kind of trickle down. You're going to want to see displacement below a recent low. Just started the new 15-minute candle here. Does this thing just reverse, fill in this gap? A lot of sitting around and waiting. That's the name of the game. Sit around and wait. Man, what a beautiful day it is outside here in Houston. I'm guessing there's probably no fellow Texans on the stream today, is there? There's a big convention going on in Miami, Trading FX Summit down in Miami. I've seen all the prop firm guys and influencers putting up their pictures of being in Miami. No trade setups here yet, guys. Don't be pushing any buttons. Don't be getting the itch to get involved. We need to let the market show us what it wants to do and where its drawn liquidity is going to be next. For the dollar, you have an obvious volume imbalance up here that it just left overnight. Now that you've grabbed liquidity, is it going to want to come back up here for the remainder of the New York session and try to rebalance that? That is definitely a liquidity void. You got some liquidity here and liquidity here in that volume imbalance. So could be what happens for the remainder of this session. We're back inside the daily range there. Pound is pulling away aggressively. Euro is pulling away. So on the 15-minute here, I would want to see a break of structure on the pound below here. That I want to see displacement below all this. Michael says weather's nice in Denmark too. Recently today, it's 21 Celsius, clear skies. Going to be even warmer the next couple of weeks. Yeah, it's getting into that hot part here. What is 21 Celsius is 70 degrees. Oh my gosh, that is actually gorgeous. Clear skies and 70. Man, that sounds amazing, Michael. That sounds absolutely amazing. It is clear skies and a high of 93 here, which would be 30, almost 34 Celsius for you. And I'm not a fan. The humidity that comes on the coast, the Gulf Coast here, with 93, it'll say, anytime you open the weather app here in Houston, it says 93, feels like because of the humidity, the feels like temperature is usually about 8 to 10 degrees warmer. So if it's 93 here and you have 60 or 70%, 80% humidity, it feels like 100. You just walk outside and just immediately start sweating. It's ridiculous. All right, we're coming into this hourly close. Be interested to see where the dollar closes here. Does it close underneath and give you a break of structure here, or does it close back up behind yesterday's low on the dollar? Same with euro. Do we get an hourly close above this structure? It appears that we will. Pound is pulling back now. Left yesterday's high in place, but it did reach up and grab all of that. So a lot of things here on the plate. Gold filled in its fair value gap, touched that order block, and fell away. So the next few 15-minute candles here will give us a clearer picture on what the rest of this trading session might have in store for us. I'm going to get back down on my 15-minute candles on everything here. 15 minutes kind of my bellwether chart of trying to see where my structure shifts are. No air conditioning in Denmark? Oh my God. Well, if it's 70 degrees, yeah, you don't need it. I love Texas. It is hot, but I mean, it's the best state in the union for sure. I'm a little biased, but it is hot in Texas. Absolutely. But I will say this, like, it really is only miserable hot from basically the middle of June to like the middle of September. So you have 4 months out of the 12 that are miserable hot. But then you have 8 months that are really nice to kind of cold. Like our January and February are our coldest months of the year, and they're not crazy cold. Now, a couple of years ago, we had a really bad freeze and it shut down the power grid, but that is a very rare thing. You can see the 15-minute candle here on the dollar is trying to push back up and just reverse completely. Has about 5 more minutes, so be interested to see what happens there. Pound is completely reversing off of its liquidity grab. Euro is trying to completely reverse. So it's going to be interesting to see, do we get displacement down through a low here on these time frames? This candle has about 5 more. This hour has about 5 more minutes to close. So you are getting a pretty good reaction here. Is it going to do what it did yesterday and just drop and give you no entry? Potentially. Unless I get an A+, beautiful A+ setup, I'm not taking it. So here's my first level that I'm interested to see. Do we get displacement through? That's my very first line of defense to see how price responds right there. And on the pound, similarly here, what happens? Do we get displacement down through there? Gold, it's not as clear. You would need a pretty large displacement to get back all the way down here. Could use this if gold comes back up and then we get a clear break of structure off of that, maybe, but it's not a breaker, and I'd much prefer to trade off of a breaker. September in Texas is kind of hit and miss. Like at the first part of September, it's going to be brutal hot. Towards the later end of September and into early October is really when it starts to kind of switch into that more fall-like weather. October and November and December are absolutely gorgeous. March, April, and May are absolutely gorgeous. So, and then January, February, it's cold, rainy, wet. We don't get snow down here. It just rains and it gets cold. So it's like, it'd be like in the 30s, Fahrenheit, which I don't know what the Celsius conversion is there, but Denmark. Never been overseas, but I think Europe would be a fun vacay. Maybe we'll use some trading profits and take the wife on a trip across Europe, assuming World War III doesn't break out in the next 12 months. Looks like it's going to try and close. It's trying to close a little below that. It's trying to. Pound reversing back up higher now, and euro as well. We did not get continued displacement away, but on the next hour you could get your displacement. Gold pushing higher, back up into its range that it had been in for several days here. It's about 30 seconds left here on this hourly candle close. So you do have a structure shift here to the downside. You've had to break a structure. It failed to displace and make a new high. Instead, it has closed. Yeah, we still got a few more seconds, but it's closed below officially that low. So we could be seeing just a weaker dollar today. Drawn liquidity would be down here. It's left some fair value gaps and it's left a volume imbalance up here. So again, I don't have a strong bias either way on any of this. This is strictly range trading, which I hesitate to participate in because my statistics are not as good when price is ranging. It's got to be, much like yesterday, just got to be a very clear. I know exactly what I'm looking for. I know exactly what I'm waiting on. If I see it, I take it. And if I don't, I'm going to go sit by the pool and work on my tan. I'm officially out of water here in my Stanley Cup. So I have a little bit of coffee left. As long as I can keep the throat coated, we can stay on. All right, here we go into our 9 o'clock hour. Do we get any kind of displacement away from this run on liquidity? That's step number one. We need a run on liquidity, which we have now received. Step number two is we need to see displacement in the opposite direction after the liquidity has been taken. We have not received displacement yet. So until we receive displacement, there's nothing to do except sit and watch candles print. So you've had a run on liquidity, but you've had no displacement after you've run liquidity. Just choppy. Not high probability. Pound dollar, again, run liquidity. It could be targeting yesterday's high up here before it does anything. Maybe it's targeting that order block here inside this fair value gap. Don't know. And I don't really care. I know what I'm looking for. Price is going to do whatever it's going to do. I just enjoy watching it print, and I want to anticipate. We've had a run on liquidity. Do we get displacement? If we get displacement, then maybe we have a shot today on something. If we don't, we don't. Now, if price were to come back up, fail to displace here, and then displace below this low, I would feel better about the downside for the rest of this hour. Don't got a pool, but I'm about to go out and work on my tan too. Working on your tan at 70 degrees does not sound very warm to me. I feel like I might. That's almost long sleeve shirt weather. Anything under 70 degrees, it's like, yeah, I might need a jacket. I might need a longer sleeve shirt here. That is beautiful. 70 is absolutely gorgeous. I'm a little bit jealous. We'll probably, we have a nice little, a park around, it's like a 60 or 70 acre green space park here close to our house. We'll probably take the dogs over there and let them run around for a little bit. And then come back and enjoy some pool time. I guess the climate, you get climatized, right? Your body adjusts to different temperatures. 70 degrees to me would be beautiful, but not like, ooh, I want to go lay out. But I guess if your body is adjusted to 70 being warm, I guess that makes sense. Fun times. Fun times sitting around waiting and watching candles decide what it wants to do. Well, if you're ever in Houston, hit me up on Twitter. There are so many good places to go eat here. We could hang out, have a meal, maybe buy a drink. Maybe if the community gets big enough, we can do a meetup somewhere in the world. I was looking at YouTube analytics yesterday, and I think most of the viewers are stateside here. It did say like 98.7% of viewers are male and one point something percent was female. I'm like, cool. Some girl traders watching. Or maybe a girl trader is watching. I've always kind of been wondering why trading is kind of more of a male dominated industry. I know there are female traders. I follow some on Twitter. But it definitely is more male dominated. Is that because the psyche, the risk, are women more risk averse in general? I'm just saying in general. Men are more have a higher risk appetite. Hey Maverick, hope you're well. I'm down on my last 3% for my account. Don't know what to do. Mentally, I'm scared of losing the account. Only have 300 drawdown. Yeah, you never want to be trading out of a position of fear. That's never that you're never going to make good decisions when you're afraid. It sucks to be in drawdown. It's not fun. I guess I would want to know why. Like why I would have to be like, what is happening on your account that you're losing more than you're winning, and then what is your risk reward? Are the winners that you do have, are you winning way more than when you lose? What's your win rate? What strategy are you using? Are you following and executing your trading plan? Are you being patient? Are you only taking A+ setups? Are you randomly jumping in because you saw somebody post something on Twitter or because you just see a candle move real quick? Like there's just so much that goes into trying to help decipher why you're in drawdown. If you're with a no time limit firm, I would say reduce your risk by half of whatever it is that you've been doing until you're back close to break even. There's no rush to pass these challenges. There's no rush to get out of drawdown quickly. The process needs to be, what is your edge? First of all, do you have a clear edge with your strategy? And by that, I mean, do you have 100 trades worth of data minimum to show you what your win rate is and what your expected rate of return is off of your strategy? If it's perfectly executed, do you have an edge? Number one. If you do, then what is your execution like? Are you just not sticking to your rules? Are you not following your plan? Are you jumping in and out of trades? Are you not letting your trades run all the way to take profit? I mean, there's a bunch of stuff in there that I would be interested to know. C says, I had a few good wins risking 0.5%. Then I went to 1% and then started to revenge trade to get back to break even. Well, you've identified the problem. You're revenge trading. You can't do that. It doesn't work. Until you make wise decisions and until you hold yourself accountable to executing your plan and following your rules, you're going to fail. And that's not just for you. That's literally for anyone who cannot follow their rules, who cannot follow their trading plan, who cannot manage their emotions. If you can't manage that, you're going to fail over and over and over and over until you master your emotions. We live in such an instant gratification culture that we can't fathom good things happening quickly for us. That like when that doesn't happen, it just blows our minds. That everything should happen quickly and positively. And that's not how trading works. It doesn't work like that. So you've got to get to a place psychologically and with your emotional maturity that your emotions don't control you. Your emotions are a barometer to help you identify that something's happening inside of you. When they take control, you're never going to make a wise decision. You have got to master your emotions, and you just have to understand, okay, I'm feeling this. Why am I feeling this? What am I afraid of? And what does that say? What's broken inside of me that feeling is coming up? Am I greedy? Am I impatient? Am I fearful? Am I prideful? Am I arrogant? Am I lazy? Like, what is the thing that this emotion is triggering inside of me? And talking it out loud to yourself could have a big impact for you. Like talking it through and being like, if I were you, Maverick, why are you doing this right now? You're about to do a revenge trade and you know that's not going to work. It's only going to hurt you. So why are you going to do something that's going to hurt yourself? That's dumb. You actually want to be a professional trader? You want to be successful at this? Then don't make that dumb decision. Like, you have to talk to yourself, and you need to have these mental conversations with yourself to be able to get to the next level and be a consistently profitable trader. And the more that you let your emotions decide what your next trading decision is going to be, you will never be profitable. Understanding your emotions, being aware of your emotions, and not being able to step outside and look down at yourself and have kind of a higher view of, oh man, look at that. Look at what that's doing to me. I need to tweak this, change that, or this is never going to work. And some people just can't. Some people just can't, man. Some people don't have, and I'm not trying to sound like a jerk. I'm not trying to cut anybody down. Some people cannot manage their emotions. They don't have that ability and maturity within them to do that. And they just live constantly manipulated, tossed to and fro by the emotional whiplash inside of themselves. Steven says, don't worry, man. I'm in the same position as you. I'm down 6.45. Max is 8. Yeah, you guys need to reduce your risk, and you need to only be trading A+ setups. Once you can get your drawdown back to within maybe 1 or 2% of break even, then maybe think about increasing that risk. But if you have a no time limit firm, just reduce that risk and figure out how to take only A plus setups and be patient. So, you, I don't. How many trades are you guys taking right now? Like on an average, in an average week, how many trades are you guys taking? Because if it's more than 3, on average, more than 3, you're probably not being patient enough and not waiting for your A plus setups to show up. Oh, for sure, get off the 1 minute time frame. For sure. You are not scalpers. You are not going to be profitable as scalpers. Stop trying to do that. There are very few professional traders that can just scalp the 1 minute time frame and make a living off of it. They're out there, but you're not one of them. I promise you. For the next challenge, I'm going to try and stay on the 5 minute and 15 minute. Well, don't try. Don't try. Just do it. Don't try. Like, you know what you need to do. Get up there now. Don't wait for the next challenge. Get up there now. Get up on the 15-minute time frame. Don't go below it. Reduce your risk. Stay on the 15-minute time frame. And if you can't stop going lower than the 15-minute time frame, then you're not ready to buy another challenge. Prove to yourself that you can do something positive for your trading career before you invest more money and buy another challenge. You do get less trades. They are more accurate. You have to wait, but that's what you need right now. You need patience. You need to learn to be patient, every single one of you. You've got to be patient. This is not a get rich quick business. Every day we have sat here for multiple hours at a time before a trade setup showed up. And we've only had 2 trades this week. 2 trades this week. We're on day 4. We've had 2 trades. And currently it's looking like we're not going to get a trade set up today. There's nothing developing. We have the New York Stock Exchange coming online here in about 15 minutes, so we'll stay online till then. But unless we get some massive displacement down, I'm not inclined to think we're going to get a setup today, and I'm totally fine with that. When I'm most successful, it's when I follow and keep to my plan. I mean, do you hear what you're saying? When I'm most successful, I follow my plan. So when you're not successful, you're not following your plan. So why do you keep doing that? Yeah, I mean, you guys, I'm telling you, trading, the hardest part about trading is mastering yourself. You know what your plan is. There are lots of good strategies out there to use. It's the execution of your trading plan. You just said, I'm most successful when I follow my plan. Well, then just follow your plan. Just follow your plan. If it takes you an extra 30 days, who gives a crap? 2 years from now, taking an extra 30 days right now means nothing. If in 2 years from now, you're consistently getting payouts, just follow your plan. Again, I'm not trying to sound like a jerk. I know it sounds kind of preachy, but you know what you have to do. You got to do it. Trade gold and normally 2 a day, London and New York. Use supply and demand. Means supply and demand, not a bad strategy. There are a lot of people out there that make millions of dollars trading supply and demand. But you need to have very clear rules built around that trading plan. And you need to stick to it. And I would say trying to find 2 trades a day is not a good idea. You should have one bullet that you're ready to use, and it only needs to be on the most premium, beautiful setup that you can find that day. If it's not there, you don't want to date the ugly sister, okay? You don't want to date the ugly sister. You only want the hot sister. Steve and I take around 3 trades per day. I used to trade only S&P 500 and NAS, but now I'm back on EU and GU. Yeah, man, you guys are just trading too much. At least you know you're greedy. And if you've seen anything from any of my live trades, from phase 1 to phase 2 to funded, you should know by now. Just go for the low hanging fruit. And just every day, 1 to 2 risk reward ratio. You don't need to be greedy. Just consistently take 1 to 2 take profit. 1 to 2 take profit. Just reach up, grab that low hanging fruit, and eat for the day. And then come back the next day and grab another low piece of hanging fruit. Greed's going to kill you. Fear's going to kill you. They both do this. They both lead to the grave. They just get you there in different ways. Yeah, you're going to have to decide, like Michael said, what works best for you. You're not sticking to your trading plans. You're moving your take profits. You're taking too many trades. You're on lower time frames. I mean, it's just a recipe for disaster. You don't need to wonder why you're failing and why you're close to failing again. Like you just laid out exactly why. So until you can do something about yourself, it doesn't matter what trading plan I give you or someone else gives you, it's not going to work. You're going to fail. Michael says, I'm practicing patience, no trades yet. Spotted 3 to 4 potential trades on EU 15-minute that hasn't hit entry, unfortunately. Yeah, and that happens, man. But your account is still fine. You didn't take a trade this week, and guess what? You protected your capital. And now you can come in next week and look again for a different setup and new setups. And eventually you're going to get a setup that's going to hit your entry and you're going to hit your take profit. And you're going to be so grateful that you are learning to be a patient trader, that you're learning how to be a professional, acting like a professional, doing professional trader things. All right, pound has taken out its previous day high now. Dollar's still tanking pretty hard, and gold is still climbing. So we've had no displacement after liquidity grabs. Pound just now reaching in to its liquidity grab here from previous day high. Euro looks like it wants to stab up and make a new high of the day. Be interested to see here in about 6 minutes or so what happens if we get any movement when the New York market opens here. I keep thinking, if this trade works out, I can make this much profit, and then I can get all excited, and then after a few wins, the ego kicks in, and I'm like, let's risk higher. Can't. You have to have the same percentage risk on every trade that you take. You have to. You can't be changing up, risking more, risking less. It's going to screw up your risk reward ratio, and your edge is never going to be able to play out. You have to keep it consistent and the same all the way through. So just decide, this is what I'm going to risk, and I'm going to keep it here, and I'm not going to change it. And then gather your data over the next 50 to 100 trades, and you'll see what your edge actually is. The problem is you don't have enough data to even tell you what your win rate is, because you haven't stuck to one trading plan long enough to know what your edge is, or even if you have an edge. So you don't even know what your edge is. You don't know what your win rate is because you can't stick to a trading plan. And until you have that information, you're literally gambling. Yeah, 1 to 2. If you're risking 20, you make 40. It's just whatever your stop loss is, you double that. That's your take profit. It's all about the process. It really is, y'all. Um, overcoming overcoming you is the biggest issue. Overcoming you. What happens in between your ears is the reason you're still failing. What was the turning point for you? When did things click? 4 years trading. Yeah, 4.5 years. Things traded for me. Things changed for me when I decided to grow up. I decided to stop being an idiot. I decided that if I want this to happen, I've got to change. And so I just made commitments to myself and to my family that I'm going to stop being an idiot. I'm going to stop doing stupid things. I'm only going to follow my rules. And I'm going to. I started talking to myself a lot. I started talking to myself out loud. Every time I would lose a trade, I would immediately start talking about how I feel. I would verbally say, "Oh, I'm feeling this. My heart is racing. Why is it racing? Why is your heart racing right now? Why why are you why are you pissed? And what is that feeling? What's driving that feeling to go back in and take a revenge trade right now? And what's going to happen if you take a revenge trade? And is that part of your plan? Well, you've just made a commitment to follow your plan. Are you going to puss out on the first loss that you take and blow it all back up again? I mean, that's when it really started to change. It's when I made the commitment to stop doing that. That's when it changed for me. Um, so, yeah, I mean, that's kind of what you have to think about. Eventually, you have to decide that I'm not going to do that anymore. Eventually, you have to be the person and the trader that you know you need to be to become profitable. There is a version of you that is the best version of you as a trader. It's out there. And until you start acting like that and doing the things that that guy does, you're never going to be that guy. It's never going to happen. You might win a trade here or there, but until you begin to um, do the things that you know what you need to do, you're going to continue to fail. You have to master your emotions, man. I know it's hard. Those emotions, when they rise up inside of you, they are powerful. They are powerful. But they can't they don't know what's best for you. They're just emotions, right? They're pretty much circumstantial, and they're just telling you what they're just pointing to something inside of you that needs to be addressed. Okay? We're human, we're fallible, we have broken parts of us inside of us. That's what being human is all about. And when you have emotions rising up inside of you, they are just pointing, and they're just a signpost for you to look at and say, there's something going on inside of you that needs to be addressed. So do the work that you need to do and figure out, what is that broken thing inside of me that emotion is pointing to, that I need to fix. And I'm not going to let my emotions decide how I should trade. I'm going to let my strategy and my trading plan and my risk management plan, those are the things that are going to decide how I'm going to trade. Because if it's up to me, I'm going to screw it up. So that's why I have all of these rules in place that I just need to, as mechanically as possible, live into and embrace. Maverick says, yes, you're right, and I need to admit this. It's part of my addictive personality. I like to take these high-risk setups to pass quickly. This reason why I've always struggled with weight loss. Yeah, I've said this multiple times before. If you don't have self-discipline in your personal life, you're not going to have self-discipline as a trader. Self-disciplined traders, they have discipline all the way through their life. They've realized that to be the person that you want, to have the life you want, to obtain the goals that you have, to reach them, it requires self-discipline, not even just in trading, in all of life. So if you aren't a self-disciplined person in all of your life, you're not going to be a self-disciplined person suddenly when you sit down the charts. And whether it's weight loss, whether it's goals, just in general, whatever it is, time management, procrastination. I mean, you could name all kinds of different ways to be self-disciplined. The way your eating habits, your cleaning habits, your laundry habits, like, it doesn't matter. Whatever your self-discipline is, if you don't have it in your regular, normal, non-trading life, you're not just going to suddenly. It's not just going to suddenly show up and appear in your trading life, and you're going to be profitable. So you've got to become a self-disciplined person. You've got to work on that. And admitting it, yeah, it's a great first step. You got to recognize it and admit it and be honest with yourself. And realize that things have to change. Things cannot stay the same. You're just going to keep getting the same results. And you're going to continue to be frustrated. You're going to continue to throw good money after bad. Something has to change. EM Trading says the thing is, you don't realize this until you're years in the game. Yeah, it took me years. It took me 3 years. Messing up countless times is the only way to realize that you need to change if you want to make it. After I realized this is when I got consistent and became a funded trader. Still the beginning, though. You're exactly right, man. This is what every trader has to go through. Every trader has to go through this process of screwing up and realizing that the personal work they need to do on themselves is ultimately the barrier that they need to break through to profitability. It's not your plan. It's not your mentor. It's not your private group. It's not your signals. It's you. Absolutely you. Not everybody needs to take 3 years. Some people may only need to take 3 months, 6 months, a year, but every trader has to go through that. How you do anything is how you do everything. That's a great quote, Michael. And it's totally accurate. All right, y'all, it's 9:30. I don't see anything on the charts right now that would make me think we're going to get a decent setup today. Of course, pound could reverse here off of its daily high, and we could get some displacement lower. Euro as well. I mean, it could displace lower from here, and maybe we get a setup short, but I'm not super confident in that based on how everything's happened so far in this trading session. And my throat's tired. I think I'm going to call it a day here. Follow me on Twitter. If something pops up, I will post everything over there. Make sure you have notifications on, though, because if you do get a trade alert and you don't have notifications on, you won't see that. But like and subscribe, or like this video, this stream, please. That would be helpful for me. And otherwise, I'm going to call it. And we will be back again tomorrow, 7 a.m. New York time, Friday, last day of trading before our payout. And we'll see what we can see. All right. I've enjoyed the time. Hope you guys have found it helpful. Be safe. Happy hunting.